Yeah, let's start early. Oh, hello. Hello everybody. Welcome to the stream. If it's your first time here, welcome. If it's not your first time, welcome back. It's gonna be a fun time together. We're gonna make some fun art. And today, I'm so excited for this one because I'm preparing a massive project on the channel. For streaming in videos, I have this idea of kind of making tutorials that are both like painting tutorials and at the same time immersive experiences. So I'm gonna start with the Renaissance, and I really like, if this works, but it might flop, but who knows, like I want to make a series of videos that will be sort of scripted so that you can experience how it would feel like to be an artist at a certain time. And I want to start with, with the Renaissance, because that's how I think I'm the era that I think I have the biggest connection to start with. Like, it's the further back that I can sort of picture myself and think that it's kind of a relevant lineage from Renaissance artists all the way to me. Like, I think it's kind of the same legacy. Like, when you go to your family tree, and the furthest back that you can just go, and basically for me, like in terms of the legacy of Western art and oil painting in particular, the furthest you can go is Renaissance. I would love to know more about, like, ancient Greek painters and stuff, but like we don't have a lot of information about them. So I'm gonna start with the Renaissance with this guy, not this guy, the guy who painted this, Raphael. And picture this. So the big idea is a sort of an immersive journey that's both painting tutorial and also like historical facts, and kind of a mental journey, like going through imagination throughout this era. What did it feel like to be a young apprentice in Raphael's studio? That's episode number 1. If it goes well, I'll do, what did it feel like to be to work alongside Rembrandt? What did it feel like to join the Impressionists? What did it feel like to be, to paint alongside Salvador Dali, something like that? I don't know. Like, I want to make it a series if and only if it works, but who knows? In the meantime, I still need to do the recording, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna paint with you beautiful people. We're gonna paint together and make something amazing out of this. So this is the idea, kind of, and I have the script. It's I've been doing, like, it's pretty well researched, but I don't want to spoil it too much. I already kind of have my script in how it kind of follows the storyline. And right here, what I'm gonna paint today is going to be mostly, illustration, so that you kind of have a sort of a background to hold on to while I'm just, but it's mostly a narrative experience. But I don't know. I hope you'll like it. All right. Hello Felicia. Hello KJHC Seth and Nicole. Currently sitting in lounge area of Arkansas Museum of Fine Arts. Wow. Awesome. You need to send up some live pictures. Do they have a Renaissance aisle? Got to flop to make a great flip. Well, yeah, I know with YouTube it's not necessarily that the video will the video will be bad. It's not necessarily the quality at all. It's mostly how sometimes, like a certain type of title will be less attractive, or somehow if you deviate from what you normally produce in terms of what kind of videos you make, sometimes like people just don't click, and I don't want to, I don't want to spend a lot of time working on something that people will end up not watching. So my idea is I'm gonna have some fun and study and do my stuff. This is not something that I would just love doing no matter how. So I figured, let's just paint. I love Raphael, my love. I'm such a fanboy. I've been dreaming of like being in the studio of Renaissance master ever since I started picking up painting. Actually, this was my first initial dream, like thinking, what does it feel like to be there and see the master paint this, and you're there with the other apprentices trying to learn. And yeah, that's pretty cool. So I'm pretty hyped about this project, but no big deal. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I know, but like seriously, Nicole, like it can flop just out of nowhere. Some videos you spend a lot of time producing them and you think people will like and click, but apparently no. So that's what I'm gonna do. So it's gonna be part one because Renaissance has to be layered. Was pretty rare for artists of the time to work at a prima, especially high Renaissance, what we'll see with Raphael. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna record some footage, and I'm gonna transfer. So I did my prep drawing in advance. So basically, the plot of the plot of the script is this. Basically, you're a young apprentice in the studio of Raphael in 1506, right? And you've been learning ever since you were a 12-year-old, and the master has asked you to make a copy of this painting that he did. So the painting is already there, and typically the painting would sit in the studio for a couple weeks. So the students would massively try to copy whenever they have free time. So basically the master has requested that you do a copy because Raphael himself wants to know if you would be capable of somehow paint a face in a commission, because this you have to imagine. I don't want to spoil it too much on kind of the atmosphere, because really the point of this video is to make it all about the atmosphere and how I really want to make it all about you get a feeling of how it was to be there, So I don't want to spoil it too much in terms of the atmosphere and all, but you have to picture a sort of a little factory, really like a small, I don't know, really a small little shop that were producing a lot of pictures at a pretty high rate, considering how much time it took to make them. So it worked with apprenticeship, and it worked with, almost merchandise. Basically, the master would produce the original work, the main work, and then the students would make little copies, and the copies could be sold separately. They would make, in Raphael's studio, they would make tapestries. So they would make a lot of merch, technically, and they almost they create paintings on like what appears today for a single painter like me. Like I'm alone in my studio, solo every day, just slowly painting. This would be a massively different experience being in Raphael's studio. Like frantically busy with, I don't know how many apprentices he had. The plot of my script is like you're kind of it's sort of a high level apprentice. It's almost your time to, you know, become an artist on your own, in your own terms. And basically this would be the final test that the master gave you is take this, well, let's imagine that this was the original. This is just for illustration, but let's imagine that this is the original and the master asks you to make use this cartoon. I'm going to call this the cartoon. This was back in the days, they would keep the cartoon. So you would have, interestingly enough, let's nerd out. Let's nerd out on Renaissance and Raphael. So the cartoon, I don't know, I think I can find actually a better example of a cartoon. Basically, a cartoon is a drawing that's made at the actual size of the finished work. I'm going to try to find a good example for you. Hold on. All right. Okay, this one is a good example. All right. Let me switch here. All right, so this would be a good example of a cartoon. Basically, the drawing is done on paper, and the master has made the drawing at the size which is supposed to be used in the final painting. Like, it's very important. They are not wasting time enlarging or like shrinking or enlarging pictures. So the cartoon, like, you have the sketch, which is just a little, you know, like a sketch technically, and the cartoon is really there to be transferred then. So you'd have the cartoon here and the final painting, you transfer it, and the cartoon was a super important part of the studio of the Renaissance, because the master would just make the cartoon and then the transfer was done by apprentices, and then the cartoon was left for apprentices to work from and copy and do exercises and study. So very important. And you have like several ways. So I'm going to take you to this. You have this one is like typical cartoon. You can see the little dots. This one has not been destructed. The little dots is a transfer method. That's called, I knew the name in Italian, but I forgot. Hold on, I'm gonna check my notes again. I completely forgot how it's called. There is the calco method. There is the grid method. All right, I'm gonna rewind. I'm gonna make it clear once I have this word, because okay, the spolvero. The spolvero is the kind of the pouncing method, which is here. And this method here, pouncing, is kind of destructive, because basically it would mean you would have to pierce the drawing with a tiny pin, pierce the lines, the main lines, and then with a ball of charcoal dust, you would spread the charcoal dust on the drawing, and the charcoal dust would go through the tiny holes, right? And this would give you, well, basically you do that, and you spread the charcoal dust, spolvero it's called in Italian. You would spread the charcoal dust, and then you have a little like line of dots, and it's almost like connect the dots after that, and you just retrace, and you have the drawing at the right dimension. Still a lot of work to retrace and still be accurate, so you keep the cartoon The only problem with the spolvero, and it's a method that was used a lot in the High Renaissance, like it was one of the first ones. But the problem is it was kind of destructive for the painting, for the cartoon. Sorry, it was very deteriorating to the painting. You couldn't really keep the cartoon alive, which is why we don't have them for the most part, except those that were copied and stuff. But a lot of these cartoons were just lost because it was a sort of a destructive transfer method. Now you have a second method, which is also like Raphael, I think, has used like the three methods. The other method is to just simply use a grid. Sometimes you would have like the two methods side by side. I'm trying to find if I can see a grid here in one of these. Sorry if my clicking noise are annoying. I know. I'm just checking. So still, while I'm checking. No, this one was not. Maybe a grid here. No, I don't think it's a grid. All right. I can't find an example in ref on. Hold on. I'm pretty sure there is. I'm gonna double check. So, but very simple. By the way, the grid is. I'm not gonna explain to you what it means, but I would like to find a good example of where you can see. All right, study for the transfiguration with a grid. All right, this is it. So this is Raphael, chalk on paper, and you see it's like very much what you would expect. It's simply a grid. So that would be the most obvious transfer method that was used. And the last one is also a transfer method that's pretty common nowadays. It's a method that's called calco, and you simply would spread, or rub or draw with charcoal. Like you would spread charcoal on the back of the piece of paper, and then with a stylus, very simply, I still have my stylus. I hope it's not too sharp. And then with a stylus, you would just trace over the lines, and it would give you very subtle charcoal line on the canvas. So imagine that this is full of dust here. It would go there on the canvas and give you a good, an outline. And this is what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna make a non-destructive version. I'm not sure exactly how historically accurate this one is. Basically, you would place an intermediate sheet of paper. It's less accurate, less precise, but it should work. I don't know. If it doesn't work, I'll try the pouncing. Try the pouncing method, or try a grid. I don't know. I don't feel like using a grid for this one. All right. So I'm gonna try to do a couple shots of this then. Hold on, what happened? What's going on? Florent apparently gave you 100 francs and I missed it? Who gave away 100 francs? Nothing is showing, so I don't know. I didn't miss any super chat apparently, so nothing to worry about. Maybe this was the origin of ... dot to dot or ... Hey all, hey Susan. All right, so for the needs of my video, I'm gonna record a couple stuff. Oh, not seeing much here. Yes, we are here. So you'll see this happening. I'm gonna try to how come my white balance is completely off? Sorry, it's really behind the scenes, so I don't know why my white balance is so off. Okay. Since I'm recording, I kind of need to worry about this stuff. I'm sorry, it's going to be kind of boring for you. But I'm promising you that we'll do some painting today. I'm promising you some fun stuff coming up. Right, actually, let's just go for... I'm gonna use my cool lights. And actually, I'm gonna make them... Ooh. Okay. Damn, this painting is Galleria Borghese. I was just there, but was too busy admiring Caravaggio. Hey, you'll be admiring this one. That's cool. I really want to make it more, more about the story of, you know, the adventures of a young Renaissance artist, more than, you know, about the painting per se. But I need to record some cool visuals. So I hope you don't mind if I'm doing like this. Is really behind the scene. This is how I do most of my recordings. It's always like that. Actually, you don't see much here because of this. So this would typically be a couple B-rolls where I explain what the cartoon is. I'm gonna take some slide shots. Like a little traveling, but it's not on point. Not boring. Oh, I'm glad it's not boring. again, another little traveling. 1, 2, 3. Oh, no, it's not right. Okay, now again. 1, 2, 3. I need to get my my wooden palette. If the yeah, I'll make a wider shot. But I like to cheat with close-ups because you don't see the mess. And since I want to make it an immersive experience, you know, if I have something modern in the background, I don't know, like it's going to mess up. It's going to mess it up, and I don't want, you know, anything, you know, modern to show up too much and be distractive. So what I'll do is I'll make some shots, but try to keep it slightly. You know, I don't want to see, oh, sorry for the sound, something is creating a little interference. Okay, yeah, this would look good. Yeah, I'm using OBS. All right, 1, 2, 3, traveling. See, it's not good. It's not good. All right, hold on. Oh. I'm gonna try to still capture me doing my stuff. Yeah, I wanted to, at least for whenever I'm painting camera shots, I wanted to have sort of a Renaissance outfit. But man, I don't know about it. Can I pull this off? Can I pull this off? Can I pull off the Renaissance outfit? I don't know. This piece here doesn't work. These are my old drawings from previous videos. I'm just going to keep them here. Show you this. Okay. All right, let's do it again. All right, well, let's go for a nice shot. Traveling. 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right, so I've got this. I'm gonna just take a couple shots with just my hand picking the drawing. It's just illustration, again. I'm gonna cut through all this later on. Good. Next. The hats are so cute, but well, where do you find the hat like that? Where do you actually find a hat like that? So yeah, you know, I don't want to invest. The thing is, I want something DIY. If I'm making a Renaissance outfit, I need to be able to make it myself, because I'm not investing money in a project that's so risky. Like I know it can completely tank. So, you know, if I'm investing money purchasing Renaissance gear, and it's not gonna make sense. So I'm gonna do some not historically accurate. I don't know how they did. I think they used to pin their paper. They did have glue. Check. Hello, Korosh. Just my bathroom robe? I don't have a bathroom robe. I'm not like you. I don't have a Renaissance bathroom robe. I'm not so fancy. Renaissance themed bathroom robes. That's a business idea. Like, everybody's free to steal this business idea from me. Just make an actual Renaissance workshop. Yeah, if I had Mr. Beast's budget, I would probably do it. Alright, so now it's going to be time for darkening this. What I want is maybe to stop. Hold on, just focus now. And stop here. And yeah, all right, so ready for, actually, let me remove this. It's kind of annoying for you. Tune. You'll have a better view what I'm doing. Get actual apprentices. Yeah, that would be the idea, right? All right. Okay, it's time for Choco. Let's go. The only problem though is that after the transfer, hold on. After the transfer, I don't want to do ink. I don't want to ink it because this would require me waiting. I don't want to wait another session for that. Inking it will not work. Now the money shot where I blow on it. Ready? Now I want to get even more texture, so I'm gonna go for something even closer. I want macro, extra macro. You don't see anything right now. I get that. I get that. You will soon. You will soon. It will all make sense. All right. All right. Let's just bring the light. Oh, when you bring the light closer, it actually works much better. And still not in focus, but almost there. You should have some very cool texture. How about it? I am occasionally, of course. Who do you think? Is today Constantine Day? Okay. So, ready for, oh, so that the shaking is annoying. Let's go. Where am I? It's when you're doing a macro, it's very hard to find exactly where you. Okay. Okay, let's go. Hold on, I'm gonna take the other one. Okay, let's take this one. Ah, I'm hitting my own camera lens. Sorry, I'm gonna do it again. Quiet. It's so close up that the slightest move. Okay, texture is all right. Now, I need to actually start thinking about the transfer. Yeah, it's normal. I explained everything. If you just arrived and just caught up in the middle, I'm doing a transfer drawing with charcoal. Basically, hold on. I know it's tricky to understand. Basically, you have this drawing here, the original, and I just added charcoal on the back, right? So there you go. Charcoal on the back, the original, and I've added an extra piece of paper here to protect it. I'm not even sure, depending on the texture, it might not work. Now, the goal is to take this drawing, transfer it here. That's the idea, right? It's a cartoon, exactly. The Italian used to call it a cartoon from the word cartono, I don't know, in Italian, like the kind of paper was called carton, whatever. And now I need to transfer on this panel right here, painting on panel. Not historically accurate because this one is aluminum panel. I didn't have wood. I'm using what I have, right? It's not 100% accurate, but I'm just gonna make a little test. Okay, it doesn't work for a sheet. Doesn't work at all because just the paper is too thick. I just need to find another stylus or find damn, now my shot has been compromised because my panel is kind of dirty now, so I need to clean it before. The thing is, typically I would not do all this kind of stuff. It's just that I want to record the footage for the video, which makes it even more tricky to follow. It makes it even more tricky to follow. So I'm sorry if you feel lost. Yeah, but the ball pull, like I do have modern transferring methods that I know I can use. I wanted to kind of cover this one to be in the theme. Right. I'm not sure it works, so I'm just gonna try with a different kind of stylus. Maybe this? Man, no. Maybe I just have a little wooden skewer or something like that. Okay, I have something. The test is, it's pretty much carbon copy, yeah. Well, it's the principle. So it's not super sharp, and the problem is it's not sharp enough. So what I'll do is, it's because of my, what I'll do is I'll add something to my charcoal covering here. I'll try to use compressed charcoal. It will make it more sticky. And so back to the alternative view. Now I'm using compressed charcoal, which will make it, I don't need to record that, but this will make it more sticky, less, sorry, I'm removing the autofocus. This will make it less less light, it will stick more, and it should give me a more precise line. This is compressed charcoal. You can see the big difference. How black, like the difference. This is natural charcoal, and this is compressed charcoal. Much more dark, deep dark. The lack of sharpness comes from the fact that the charcoal is just so light that it can't really form a very fine line from this. Anyway, since I'm using this non-destructive calico technique, or carbon copy if you prefer, I can always like pick up a new piece of paper and start again using a different method. Whoa, this is dark. It's intense. It's intense. I'm gonna show it to you right now. All right. See the difference? Okay, so now my board is super messy. Just gonna do a little test. Just a little test on the side. Man, doesn't. So still too textured. I'm struggling with this. Yeah, this is why I always use the oil transfer is better. Like I prefer the oil transfer technically. So if you ever want to try doing this method, do this directly with oil paint. But the thing is, the oil transfer is not something that's known from this era. So if I can, I'll try to avoid it. If I need, I'll cheat for the. Oh, it's actually, it's aging my my drawing. It's actually pretty cool. All right, so let's try this out. Okay. Greetings from the UK. All right. Going to. Okay. Just checking. Because the type of stylus, the pressure. Okay, it works. It works, but I have to be precise. And but it works. I'm gonna do another round of darkening and filling up the paper, and then I'll spread it, because with this technique the problem is not that the line is not visible, is that you have too much pigments that sort of spread with the slightest touch. You know, they just spread from all over the place. So I need something even, and I need to remove the little stacks that might form here and there. Well, pretty much, yeah. If you imagine that transfer paper was not invented, this was the best thing that they had back then. They were probably much better than me. Like, I'm not... Like, if this is a technique that I never used, I just know about it. But you know, depending on the thickness of the paper, the type of stylus that you choose, the smoothness of your panel also, because if you do that on, if you try to transfer on a canvas with thick, heavy grain, for example, heavy weaves, it will not leave a consistent mark. we'll leave kind of a little dotted mark. Mic issue. Right, I have a little mic issue. I'm gonna change batteries and be right back. Yeah, it was black charcoal and then compressed charcoal just to leave a better mark. And the goal, just as a reminder, I'm gonna clean it up afterwards, but we have the original drawing. Actually, it's pretty cool. It looks aged now. It's pretty cool. We have the original, and the back has been covered with charcoal dust, compressed. At first, I had natural charcoal, but I didn't have a stylus that was good enough to leave a good mark. So I'm trying a slightly different technique. It might be disappointed in the end. It might turn out to be not the best kind of transfer, but we'll see. It's often a lot of work to with these old techniques. It's often a lot of work to retrace back after you're done. Like even the pouncing one with the little pinholes, you still have a lot of work after the pinholes are done. And it's going to give me pretty much the same level of accomplishment. Basically, it will give me something very rough that I'll have to correct. So I'm gonna change batteries and I'll be back. Alright, back, sorry. Ouch. This is a problem. It's either batteries or cables. No easy solution. Something is bound to annoy you at some point with microphones. It's always like that. Check, check. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Check, check. Okay, good. We are back in business. Okay, so I'll just need a little cleanup. Here the positioning. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'll have what I need really. And try to secure it. Secure it nicely. Delegate. Wow. This is ugly. But I'll do my best. I'm gonna try to hold it in place because I really don't want it to move. Gonna get it to somewhere you can see stuff. Actually, this view was better for you. C'est beau, mais mon dessin c'est tout taché. Mais si je commence à gommer, je vais appliquer des marques. So now every little, the slightest pressure that I put is going to leave a handprint. So I want to avoid that as much as possible. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna try to be, since it's the stylus, you just trace over the lines, but you don't have a visible mark of whatever you're doing. So I'm gonna try to be methodical about it. Just take it side by side and top and bottom. Try to remember the parts that I've done and the parts that I have not. So the good thing is that I did the drawing already. So I memorized the key features, and sometimes the drawing is not 100%. Very often it happens that the drawing transferred like that, not totally accurate. But since you did do the drawing once, after the transfer is done, you make all the corrections. Technically the transfer is more here to establish the main proportions and make sure that you start with, you know, the right size, the right proportions. But still a work of it's almost like you have to redo the drawing once this is done. We'll see. I'm so anxious that it will look awful when I lift it off. Oh god. We'll see. Like, as long as you know you have corner of the lips, bottom of the chin, kind of the corner of the eyes. You can figure it out. It's time to figure it out later. Okay. Almost there. Sorry stream if the camera is not perfect for you. I've placed it more on an angle that's appropriate for the recording and not in the stream, so sorry. C'est pour la caméra, ça peut aller. Moi c'est bien. Alright, a verdict. Verdict, are you ready? Hold on. I want to give you this one. No, this one. The liftoff is there. Oh. It's not perfect, but hey, it will do. It will do. Alright, let me show you. It's super subtle and fragile, so it's there. Still a lot of work. It's there. You see the main elements, so that's good enough. But as I said, there's still a lot of work. The only problem, I am not a super fan of the placement. I'm not a super fan of the placement. But I'm not gonna start over. Could I start over? Nah. Am I this picky? Nah. You know what? I think I'll resize the panel. I'll resize the panel actually. I'll just make sure that the face is better centered by I'm cropping the panel. I'm not doing it again. It's just too boring and just too messy. And I can't do it again. Pushing this as far out of my way as I can. And I'm finally going to clean up this lady here. Sorry lady that I had to be so brutal with you. Exactement, s'adapte. Actually, I kind of like the aging effect that it makes. With all the, I messed it up with the charcoal, but now it looks kind of cool with the little dust particles. So kind of like it. All right, I'm gonna give you a better angle now for what's... Well, so the cartoon, that's the good thing, is the cartoon is intact. So you can use it, well, let's say at some point you're going to mess up the... You're going to mess it up with the stylus, but the cartoon is intact, so you can do that several times. But, well, at least the second time, the stylus, every time you do it, the stylus kind of leaves little grooves, you know, in the paper. So every time you do it, kind of the grooves are already there. It makes it easier, but also it kind of makes it like it deteriorates a little bit every time. And at some point, like the grooves can't be 100% accurate. So every time you might lose a little bit. You might lose a little bit of your accuracy, but whatever. I think it can be used at least like 10 good times before you start noticing anything significant, and before it starts becoming almost unusable, which is good. Better than many transfer methods, actually. Okay. Cat is not happy. I don't know if you can hear my cat in the background. Super pissed. There might be some other cat trying to infringe on his territory. All right, now, so here I don't have a good pencil that would be useful and that would work. It would feel kind of Renaissance. Maybe this, I'm trying something like that. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, it's all right. Just can trace the lines again. Hi, redesigned product. So now I'm trying to locate whatever line has survived. I can see the main elements, so I'm good. It should not be this this messy. Like technically it should provide a better line. But this is experimental mostly for me, so this is not how typically I would transfer. It's all a combination of the type of stylus, and also the smoothness of your panel. If you have something with much less texture, it will do the print the printing from the back covered with charcoal will be much more precise. Yes, it is a pencil extender, and I'm kind of using it to make it feel more Renaissance-like, because it kind of hides the blue coating. And I know I have my headphones and they don't feel very Renaissance, but if you want me to hear what you have to say, well, I can kind of remove them for a while. I'll regularly remove them every once in a while, just for the camera. Because I'm not going to use like 100% of this footage, so it's going to be mostly illustration footage. So let me bring the camera closer to you. Not closer to you, closer to me actually. Ok, merci Jean-Luc. Man, this is a quiet stream today. You are so quiet and inspired. I am going to assume that you're busy making wonderful art on your side. Man, it feels quiet today. I'm gonna assume that you're making art, because that's the point, right? Rushing from India, namaste. Hello, namaste from France. Brittany, what are you making? So I'm making a copy of a Raphael, and I'm finishing the transfer. If you rewind, you'll have an idea of what I did back then to get to this point. What books other than the Charles Barg do you recommend for learning to this style of drawing? I recommend both books by, even though they're not as technical, they're really great source of inspiration. Both books, hold on. Both books by Juliet Aristides. These ones, this one, Lessons in Classical Drawing. She also has a new one ever since with actual exercise that you can do like in the book. And this one, her first one, L'Atelier de Dessin, the classical atelier or the drawing atelier by Juliet Aristides as well. And you can also check out, like, as I said, she has a sort of a book that you can sketch in, kind of an exercise book. You can also check it out. Very good for this kind of art. That's good value. Cody's in here, yeah, and we'll do. At the end, we'll do challenge back, by the way. We'll do the challenge. All right, back to this. I think I'm gonna finish this. I'm not gonna have time to shoot the video footage for the imprimatur and all. It won't happen today, so might need to do that tomorrow. Is this actually live or a video pretending to be a live one? Did you have your answer? It's a video. But I'm psychic. I'm psychic like that. I knew that you were going to say that, and I predicted it. I'm just so good. Can someone who never draw still more than stick people than that, or you think it's something that you're born with? No, it can be learned, definitely. And but it, like, if you draw nothing more than stick people, it might mean that you never shown any interest in drawing, in art, and in visuals in general, because how can you stick with stick figures, right? like it take a certain kind of disinterest for someone to be completely okay with still drawing stick people. So I would say maybe if you still draw stick people, it's not for you. You need to have a little bit of interest in the arts and have attempted to, you know, get better in some way, shape or form. Just do little things trying to improve. If you like realistically, but I don't believe you. If you realistically say I'm just as bad as I draw only stick people, that's all I can do. Like somehow I have a hard time believing it. If you have any interest in arts. Because that's really like level 0. Yeah, drawing on the right side of the brain, but it's kind of a... I have mixed feeling for this one. Because like... I never really got caught up with the idea that the right side of the brain is doing something different. I don't care what side is doing what I want. I want my brain to be capable of executing what I want and visualizing what I want. I don't know exactly what side. I know it's kind of more a metaphor, but I don't know, I never really got into this, even though it's very interesting. I read it. I also saw the kind of the video, the series of video courses that she did. Doesn't really do it for me. J'ai pensé par un moment que le réalisme était le summum, j'ai vite changé d'avis parce que je n'arrivais pas, pas parce que je n'arrivais pas, mais parce que ça ne me donnait pas d'émotion. Bah oui, c'est ça, c'est le problème de l'hyper-réalisme. On peint des choses juste pour avoir cet effet waouh, mais en fait, il n'y a rien derrière. Et c'est pour ça que j'adore le classicisme, le baroque, où il y a vraiment le surréalisme, pourquoi pas, enfin, toutes ces choses où il y a du narratif, des choses derrière, le romantisme. Et l'hyper-réalisme est vraiment un sous-genre assez fade. Et qui explique d'ailleurs pourquoi il est encore en vogue et pratiqué. Parce que ça ne mène rien et ça correspond bien à l'esprit de l'époque. C'est très neutre. The book Art of the Pencil by Sherry Wallenstein Cami. Nice. I'll check it out. So I don't know about this one. Can't know them all, right? But if you say it's good, I'll trust you on that. Okay, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, holding the pencil differently is absolutely key. And yeah, and I agree. It's key. It's key, and what I think is really key is, I don't know if you can see it here on this side cam. the bottom here. I'm here. Look at this. It's the angle of the joints that's making the movement. Like it changes it all. If you start from the shoulder, you can go with this big broad. It's actually way more stable than you think. This kind of movement is extremely vivid. It's not extremely precise because it's pretty large, but like there's no shaking. It's like it's one big motion. If you start with this, with the elbow, you can do something like that with this joint. And this one is more tricky. The elbow is kind of more locked in place, but you can do, it can be good for stuff like that, like, you know. Most of it comes from the wrist though. It's hard to completely disconnect the elbow from the wrist. And next you have the wrist, of course. Wrist is kind of the most mobile part, and for kind of medium size like that, the wrist can be very good. But the wrist is not good at, you know, tracing kind of curves, because it only has like certain angles available. Like with a movement of the wrist, you can only go like that, or you have to twist it in like weird, you know, you have to kind of twist it very weirdly, and you lose a little bit of this precision. And after that, the final kind of joints is the fingers, and this is, yeah, typically this would be what you use for your most precise stuff. I think Proco is still making content. I don't know. I hadn't heard about what he does. Haven't heard of him for a while, but I don't see why not. I don't see why he wouldn't be still doing content. When you make art for a living, it's hard to see a reason to stop. But of course, like, YouTube is different. It's a different game, so I don't know. Maybe something changed there, but yeah, of course they make videos. Sure. Like I said, I don't see a reason to stop. You know, sometimes it doesn't take much for YouTube to stop recommending a channel to you. So like, let's say you started with drawing and then you switched to painting, and all of a sudden, like, you don't get this stuff doesn't get recommended to you anymore. It's YouTube is very brutal like that. It's very all or nothing. Yeah. It's like I don't even know how people get recommended my stuff, but I know that, yeah, I know that from my analytics that some of my viewers come from his channel. But still not that many. There's not a lot of crossings compared to Alpi, Effa, Slew. Of course, Chris from Paint Coach. Who there? Andrew, the Tish. Like, I know that a lot of my viewers watch these channels. Proco, not so much. Like, from the stats that I receive. But some, yeah. Yeah, YouTube recommendation is a tough game. Hello, Cletting. Yeah, I was looking for a guide on barracks, and you were recommended one of my videos. That's good. I'm happy you stick around. Hi, Socrates. Too many hours? Alright. I assume driving in Greece might not be a very relaxing experience. How would you say is the driving in general in where you are? Like driving in general. Crazy motorcycles. Oh gosh. It's funny we also have, like, I don't know, the motorcycles like to tour in my village somehow and meet there. When they do their motorcycle rides, like every Sunday, they usually go for a ride and they all stop here and join and meet here. It's kind of their tradition. So obviously they park everywhere and it's kind of sometimes creating a fuss with the people, but hey, mostly good for business, for local business. So hard to complain already. Yeah, well, touring bikers are mostly there to enjoy the road and enjoy the experience, so and the pressure of being the lone mod. I think it only works without with no cap. Oh boy, 1.5 hours to get there. Kind of discouraging. Do I have tips? Yes, I have tips. I think I'm gonna share them. I'm making a video out of this, so I'll present the tips much more, effectively. Oh, sorry, you're not even like the tips will be much better, much more nicely presented in the video that I'll make out of this. But yeah, as I said, I'm gonna cut this board. Oh god. Emoji wall, you really want to? What's wrong with emoji wall? Something is not right. Not working. Alright, emoji wall is not working for today, I don't know. Maybe that's for the best. Frankly. It's funny, no command work. Yeah, no command work, so I don't know what's going on. Something's glitched out here. Hold on. No, it's not. It's something is glitched in my commands. I don't know. I'm gonna try to fix it. It says connecting, but it doesn't connect. Yeah, I don't know. No commands today. I will not have time to fix it. Will not have time to fix it. All right. Yes, I wanted to paint, but I'm kind of hesitant now. What I want first is I want to reframe this. And I'm going to show you, this is not very Renaissance at all. It's not very Renaissance. It's aluminum panel. And the good thing is you can resize it pretty easily with a little simple, it's a die bond. I don't know if you've heard of the name die bond. Makes these very sturdy, very light, and very flat. It's extremely flat almost never warps, and you can technically make a very big panel out of this, and it will not warp and it will not be too heavy. So I'm just gonna grab a ruler. So as I said, I want to reframe it. So I think I'm gonna go. Can you see anything? I'm just checking if it. Okay, so right here. Basically, what you want to do is just take your. Yeah, exactly. You can almost glue them, and well, I'm not gonna say they're easy to cut to the desired size. You'll see that it takes a little bit of patience. Simply you go like that, like over and over, until it starts to give. At some point you can you can start following the groove, and it just works like that. Just be patient. Plein air painters are painters who pick up their gear, go outside and paint. Plein air means open air, I don't know, open, like, I don't know, outside. Okay, so I'm still not, so basically there's two sides of aluminum and a sort of a foam kind of plastic core in between. Once you reach the plastic, there's a black plastic inside. Once you reach it, that's when you can start to, manually bend, and that's when it really starts to give. Yeah, plein air and alla prima go hand in hand, because most of the time when you're doing plein air, you have one attempt at painting whatever it is you want to paint, so you're not gonna necessarily painting layers. However, there used to be a big tradition of plein air painters who used to study outside and pick up basically their plein air was just there for making little studies, and then they would come back to their studio and actually make their landscape from the studio. The actual landscape, the most kind of serious work, was made inside. It's a big debate that, like, if it is a landscape that was done inside the comfort of a studio, is it as good as a landscape that was made fully plein air, like the real stuff? To me, yes, like the plein air, just because it's all been done outside doesn't necessarily make it good. But I can see some very good paintings that were done completely outside, no cheating, plein air. It takes patience, right, to pull this off, but gonna get there, I'm promising you. It takes a lot of patience. Especially since in my case I don't have it's just starting to sink in, but barely. Don't want to mess up my palette too much. Yes. Starting to bend. Starting to give. Just slowly starting to give. You see how it's starting to bend here? It's a good sign. It means we're almost there. So now I can go really deep in the plastic. And then you have to cut the back to make it clean. Just because you can tear it off, but it's better if you come back with a couple slices. And there you go. That's it. That's how you crop in real life. See how easy it is to do in Photoshop and all these, you know, photo editing softwares? Well, in real life, that's how you do it. All right. Okay, so now I'm not gonna go further than that today because I need to do recording, and it will just take too much time that I don't have, and it will just be too boring. So let's do the art challenge and pick up a new challenge maybe. So we had this unusual portrait challenge and the deadline was today. So let's review. You know what time it is, new challenge, and the challenge is unusual portrait. A portrait, any model can be a person of your choice in an unusual setting, unusual position, unusual color scheme, unusual costumes. So it was pretty much a wild card in many regards because, well, there is a lot left to interpretation. You can pretty much do whatever you feel like with this challenge. And so we have this one by Felicia right here. Throwing up a cheat to get things started. Reworked about 2 months ago, so it's not horribly ancient. Still painting one for the challenge. But this was exactly what was meant with unusual. It's unusual angle, and this is typically a super tricky angle. I salute you, Felicia, for accomplishing this one, because this kind of angle is a pain to make. I don't know. I've never made it feel quite right. There's always something wrong, and yeah, it's tricky. An old one, because I'm not sure I have time to do a new one right now. So unusual in terms of lighting. What kind of portrait has almost like 90% of the face in complete shadows? If you can recognize who it is, I'm not sure. I'm not sure who the singer is. Cody, Jesus on the Cross, charcoal. Unusual position, setting. Cody was experimenting with charcoal recently. Ali, also one of my recent works. This one is amazing. I really like it. I like how it's like, I like the details with the black notes, the black keys right here. It's amazing. A little touch. Well, I like the blue composition is extremely interesting with this oval. I just love it. Ali, congrats. It's gorgeous. Rory have this kind of figure. It feels like a crop from a figure pose, like a figure session, figure drawing session with pose. We used to have this sessions with this in this art club, art group, and we had these kind of challenge poses with like ridiculous angles and positions that were very short for the models, but pretty intense to draw. Mike is doing this. Let me read before. Thought I'd add this one from a while back. It's based on a GoPro shot a friend of mine of a friend of mine getting ready to duck dive, painted in acrylics. That's unusual. Definitely. Yeah, it's crazy what you can get with these GoPros, and it's funny, like you can like tons of subjects that you wouldn't imagine were possible. Just put a camera in whatever and just let it record, let it take pictures, and then find some great ideas for paintings. Painted on a slab. I like it. It's crazy. Feels kind of almost like out of Cthulhu. This one, it's the Mandalorian. Started the monthly challenge yesterday, so I had the honor to be there on May the 4th. So here's a sketch. Cody, another Jesus charcoal, and finished this one, the Mandalorian, the finished work. So this was before and after. Great work. Like it, like the specular reflection. It's always so much fun. Specular reflection, like the brushwork. It's pretty cool. Oh, this one by Balsam, actually looking amazing. Hold on, is it the same? What's the difference? It's on paper. On paper. Oil on gessoed paper. I've always had a problem with gessoed paper because of the texture. I kind of like painting paper, but it's specially prepared, and they kind of do the imitation paper texture. I've always had a problem with actual paper texture. I've never really been a fan of painting on that because it doesn't feel like canvas or like panel. But maybe gessoed properly, it should work. Like everything can work gessoed properly, and this definitely works. Amazing, amazing portrait. Balsam. Alex, I don't have any pictures and I couldn't take, so it's oil on this crap piece of wood plank from Home Depot. Hey, that's pretty cool. Add the Prince Charming. Well, this is unusual. What is this? Prince Charming outfit. Okay. Felicia, unusual portrait, 2 attempts. Neither one is finished. I'd been defeat on this one. Felicia always likes to say her work is not finished. But I think I like the goofy kind of face. It's very unusual but very tricky. Same idea, like a painting from below like that with this type of angle is super difficult. First time joining the challenge, so I wouldn't call that a portrait. Maybe if you crop it, but that's unusual. It's an unusual pose, definitely. Still not really a portrait per se, but hey. And this one by Nicole. Nicole, I did this a few years ago, self-portrait. What is this? Is that pastel? Is it dry pastel? I can't figure it out. I think it might be dry pastel, but it can be oil pastel. Anyway, thanks for the upload. Thanks for uploading the picture, Nicole. Great great painting. So that's the end of the list. Congrats everyone who participated. It was a really cool one. It was great to see all your submissions. So what should we do next? What should we do next? Let's vote for the next one, and after that, all right, I'm gonna take the first 2, 3, 4 suggestions. You're too nice with your reviews. Well, I'm not here to critique anyway. Like, this is not the point. Like, the point is to have fun and motivate people and share some love, share some inspiration. Like, if you were making a master copy and the goal was to teach you some stuff, I would be brutal, because that's like, there's a context. And here's the context, is just to have fun with the community. I don't care what you paint. I care that you have fun. I care that you participate, and I care that you share the love and share the inspiration. That's all I want. I don't want, I don't want any critique when it's not asked. Sometimes that's the problem with artists, and I could be like that, but I'm never giving critique when I'm not asked. Like, if you ask me about something about your art, I'll give you honest critique. If you don't ask, I'm not giving you unsolicited critique. So okay, so one suggestion: surreal. Cody's portrait in imposto or impasto, or a person emotion. Time period themed. All right. So stop it right there. I think I have what I need. I just need to sort it out. So Cody's Well, you mean portrait in impasto? I'll go for portrait in impasto. So person in okay, you have two. Surreal, is that a theme? I'll like the theme, so I'll try this one. What is time period though? All right, I'm gonna take this one, paint a meme. Sorry, when I don't understand the vote. Time periods. All right. I don't know what it means, but it might be fun. Time period themed. So like basically prehistoric still life, or Victorian still life, or futuristic. I'm gonna assume this is it. All right, let's go. Let's vote, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get out and vote. Let's make our voices heard. So yeah, by time periods theme, what I'm thinking is basically to take some objects, some props that look like a certain time period. Like, I don't know, as I said, the Victorian age, Roman Empire, whatever. Like, if you have like stuff, I think I might have stuff from the Second World War at home. I might have stuff from I have some classical sculptures, so I can make something like Greek themed. If you have some Victorian objects, let's say. What else could, like something from the 50s, like, you know, going through an attic somewhere, like going to a garage sale. You can find some objects from the 50s, from the 60s. Can be fun, kind of groovy themed still life can be fun. Yeah, Old Western, Egyptian, Renaissance, Dark Ages, Paleolithic, yeah. Just go grab some sticks, make a little fire, stones, sticks and stones, you know. That can be fun. I think it's winning so far. I don't see how anything can catch up. Everybody has voted. Everybody. All right. So end poll. Okay, nice. Kevin, artist Kevin, you win this one, and this is going to be still life themed. And I wanted to have a little celebration. Still life themed, time period, still life. Well, I don't know how I'm gonna phrase it, but yeah, definitely it's going to be a fun one. So that's it for today. This was a very slow process making this transfer, but we achieved this. It's not much, but the art of the Renaissance requires patience. So this was part one. I'll do I don't think part two, you'll see part two live. I'll do part two on the side, and I'll make a video out of this whenever I have time. But in the meantime, I'll see you for the next stream or next video on the channel. And as always, have fun, paint a lot, and share the inspiration and the joy of making art, my friends. Thank you very much for being here. I'll see you for the next one. Bye bye. You see you, my friend.